Boom! Yes, it's our Friday feeling. Come on, get that heart pumping. Bump. Yes, it's still pumping. We're good. It is our Friday feeling. It seems like I've been away for at least 2 weeks. Maybe I was. Anyway, today we're going to carry on with the Spitfire. Yes, come on, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting back to the Spitfire. Basically, the boomerang's done. I've added some bits to it. And we've been waiting for the Spitfire to get back in. I've been waiting to get the Spitfire back in again. But we're going to do it, so I reckon we should go to the overhead cam and get cracking. Welcome to the overhead camera. Yes, it's the overhead camera. Awesome. Right, now, we were still kind of working on all sorts of bits and pieces. We was working on the fuselage, which we'll show you in a little while. I think last time, it's been so long since we've been in the Spitfire, I had to recap on the last video of where we was. But anyway, I haven't done much to the wings, as I say. I still haven't done the cover for the wheels because I want to change that. I've stuck on a couple of the intakes, which as you can see, I got a bit of glue, tried to wipe it off. Yeah, gonna have to make some weathering on that, I think. Now, I was thinking, because anything that's like attached to a wing is drag. Now, I was speaking to Paul Heckles because he's such a man of information and he knows his stuff. I was saying maybe if I cut out this and cut out the back, maybe that'd be a good idea. Give that a go, then the air should pass through it. Now, trouble is, if you're doing a bank, would the air in that get trapped and almost help you bank? I don't know. I think you've really got to go seriously into physics about that. I mean, the way it's stuck down, I mean, it's, as you can see, it's still slipping up a bit on there, which I'm a bit annoyed about, but you know, that's the trouble, I suppose, when it's covered and it's not sprayed or something like that. Then this is what happens when with the downside in my eyes with balsa, which is not a downside, but if you've got sticky things on and it does come and the epoxy does come out. I did use a thing called Goo Gone, which wipes it off, but it does start rubbing the paint off this. So I suppose I could spray it again, but then you got all the dots and lines and everything else. But anyway, let's not get boring and chatting about that. Let's have some fun. Right, I'm going to stick the wings together, which is also fun. On here, you've got one of these, which is the middle section, which actually fits into that way. You can actually see that. It's really annoying me now. I didn't see that for a while, but anyway, we can always stick some glue under there and do something. I don't know. We'll see. But it's just a pain. I'm going to keep going on about it, you know. That's got to go in there, and then you do get a dowel that fits in this hole. Now, what I did do, I did grab the dowel, I think the last time, and just test fit it. And where they to glue two bits of timber together, one was slightly off, so it only went in a little bit. So the best thing to get is to get a file. So I've got my I call it half moon, twiddly clips, half moon. And just go on it really gently, don't go mad, and then keep trying this, because obviously we want this as solid as possible. So it's got one of those, and the rest of it just glues together. So we're going to epoxy these together, and then while this is epoxying, we will, while it's dry, why is epoxying? While it's drying, we'll look at the fuselage and show you what the changes I've done on the fuselage. It's still, I mean, I was looking at the Spitfire this morning, there's still quite a bit to do, but I'm quite happy just plodding along. Now, what I did forget to do is that on here, can you see that yet? There's two little divots. If you just sort of like, is it here? Yeah. If you just brush your finger, or wipe your finger on there, should I say, you'll see two little circles. Now, this is where the cables come through. I mean, the fuselage is quite centre here anyway, so presumably that will cover, but if not, we've got some, yeah, well, I'm sure it does, because that's where they tell you to. Also at the back, I've done one this morning. There's just, there's where the screws go. So you should have, so you get two of your plastic, these are going to hold the wings on. Now they do come with, where these are taken off like a tree, you get like a plastic tree where lots of these are made, and then they just pull them off. You do get a bit of like over plastic on there, cut that off. So you've got like a nice bolt champ, and then they bolt through there. Now I don't, they screw in, but I think there's actually like a dog nut on the actual fuselage that these go into. But you'll need to do this as well. Now I didn't bother sort of like putting it actually comes through the other side as well, if you can see. So presumably this will be going into the fuselage underneath, and this is how the wings attach. They sort of like fit in a little groove at the front there, so they kind of fit in and then go down, and then you screw them down. We're going to need those in. The reason we're going to need those in is because I've been looking everywhere. I haven't got rubber bands, so I'm going to have to do something funky, probably with a bit of electrical tape or something. When we glue this, we need to hold this together. It's okay at the front because you've got the tongue hanging out in front, this tongue here. So we'll stick a big clamp on that, just to hold it together while we're doing the epoxy. Okay, the soldering iron is nice and hot. I'm not going to feel it, but it feels hot to me. So all I'm going to do is make sure that you can see on camera. All I'm going to do is just pierce a hole and then just work my way round. Working my way back to you, babe. There we go. Right, so, oh, hello, it's falling inside, but that's okay. Because it kind of burns it and sort of like seals it at the same time. As you see, I have done in previous, I've cut edges, but that's kind of like a different edge. It's kind of satisfying actually, just sort of going around, trying not to melt. Oh, I just didn't do that, did I? I thought I pushed the... I did. This is why I don't like using soldering irons. It might be okay, but you know what I've just did, don't you? Yes. I was getting all excited and I wasn't looking at the... Oh, okay. This is an extension anyway of the cables, because the cables only come so far to hit to there. So there's that one extension. So I haven't got the let me just zoom in a bit more. Oh no, that you zoomed in. You can't do no more. Right, so these are all got extensions on anyway, and if you look at that extension, no, this extension, I've actually melted that. Oh, what an idiot I am. So that's fine, because I can stick another extension on there, and then I'll put the gear. That's for the gear, so that'll come off anyway. So let me they come through there anyway, so they're ready to go into the fuselage. And then obviously I just, because that is too small there, so I would need extensions on those anyway. Hopefully these ones I haven't melted. Let's have a quick look at this. Have I melted you tonight with my love? 1, 2, there should be another one in there. Yes. Oh, hello, it's like playing that game, what's it called? Where you do operation, that's it. Oh my god. Right, here we go. These, I don't know why they come unstuck. It's probably because it's in a cold environment. But they look good. They look good. I didn't burn them ones. So all you do with these, I've got this tape, it's quite good. It's delicate surface tape from Scotch, if you can see that. Now it's a bit bright actually, but if I come up real close, and there we go. Oh, there you go. That's the money shot. Scotch delicate surface. Now I use this on foam planes because it's about the only tape that I know that doesn't pull off the paint. Really cool stuff. I mean, if you leave it on long, then it might do. But just stick these so that out the way. So I'll just stick it on there. So if there's any paint to pull off, it's not going to pull off. Now I'm going to get... I think before we start getting excited, in fact, I could... no, before I forget, I want to get an extension and change that, because you know what's going to happen. I'm going to forget, I'm going to stick it in there, crash and burn, and back in the room. Oh yeah. Yes, I'm back in the room. Right, so we changed that. I had one that was slightly longer, but then again, it's always better to have a bigger one than a small one, don't you think? But I can always, I can make them. It's, I haven't got time today. Otherwise, I'm not going to get time to do anything positive. Right, so we need some epoxy. Now, here's epoxy. It's the Zap Z Epoxy 30-minute formula. Pretty cool. So let's mix this up. So we're going to have nice big splodges, because we have got a lot of surface to do, and the last thing you want to do is to run out. So it's always better to have more epoxy than you need, otherwise you end up mixing up while the other one's sort of like curing. But then again, you know, it's 30-minute, so just remember equal parts of each one, so the stinky one, as I call the hardener. So the stinky one's always the hardener, so same amount as hardener is the same amount as resin. And then I just normally use a stick to work it together. Funky, funky, yeah. Let's all have the funky dance. It's called the resin dance. Resin dance, boogie, woogie, woogie, resin dance. Let's all have the resin dance. So keep doing it. It goes like a milky, whitey colour stuff, which I presume means it's having a reaction already. It's going, hi, Mr. Hardner. Well, hello there, resin. Let's get together right now. There we go. I should be a singer. Thank you very much. Right, so that's kind of globulated. I mean, that's how it normally goes anyway. I mean, I'm no sort of scientist or, you know, expert at resins, but that's how it normally goes. And I normally stick stuff and it normally stays stuck. Alrighty then. Now, one thing I should do. We've got 30 minutes on that. So that's okay. Now, on here, quite bright there actually, aren't I? But there we go. On here you've got a line, if I can get that in focus for you. Probably not. There's a little line at the top and a little line at the bottom. That is center point, which is kind of roughly the bit there. Just make sure that the line with my luminous pencil, so you can see a good line across there, yeah? Okay. Yeah. Not the side, just the edges, which is kind of well, I suppose you could do the whole thing really, so. Okay, so while that's in there, this then slips in that gap. Now I've got to remember, you've got to do the right way. So otherwise my wing's going to be facing the right way down. Oh, he nearly made a mistake. Now that is facing down, so the wing's got to be facing up. So it actually says on there. I'm just looking just to get my head around to make sure, because actually on the drawing I swear it says no. Oh, have I just done another boo-boo? I've done another boo-boo. The hole the cable's through come out the top. Not the bottom. What are you making holes in the bottom for? And the only reason I saw that was because I nearly put this the wrong way around, which means the wings would have been like facing down rather than facing up. Given that I've forgotten the name of how the wing, but I'll probably put it on the video because my brain at the moment. Ah, that's all right. We got sticky stuff for that, so that's fine now. This is why it's always good to have 30 minutes epoxy, because we got 30 minutes. I'm just going to put that there to quickly do an unboo-boo. So let's do an unboo-boo. Okay, boo-boo adverted. That was a close one, wasn't it? Yeah, so what you're thinking of is the wings have got to be on the top, because you can see the thing, I can't remember the name of it, my brain has gone. But anyway, the wings kind of step up. It's a famous part of the Spitfire. Right, so then, once we have got our lovely lots of glue on there, and I'm quite happy with that, we push this in, and it should slide in nicely all the way up to just before that line, and that says to me that that is okay. Then we've got the if I found out where I put it, I found it. Oh, it was under the towel. Yeah, okay. So all I'm doing is I'm just rolling a bit of epoxy on there. I should have measured this really, but you can measure halfway, and then I'm just going to stick her in there, and then with my super duper gold hammer, I'm just going to tap that in until it looks about halfway, which is about halfway. This is why you should always put the dowel in first, just to make sure that the holes are okay. Right, so this is okay. So what I'm going to just quickly do, I'm just going to quickly get a bit of sandpaper, just go along that edge. I mean, this is the sort of thing that you could probably do before you've made the glue. And then we are ready to stick. Now, as I say, it's a 30-minute epoxy, so we'll probably have to make a bit more of this, I would have thought. Alrighty, and back again. Now, as you see, that was a wonderful moment, but I thought I wasn't going to bore you to tears with me doing as slow as possible. Right, I'm just going to wipe my hands, get them all ungunked, as they say. Well, they're not gunky, but... And then we're going to join the wings together, the fuselage? No, the wings together in holy matrimony, which they will be, hopefully, for there ever than a day. Now, I did check this side, so I'm not quite sure why it's been a bit of a pig. But it is being a pig. Come on. Don't do this to me. Don't embarrass me in front of all the people. Because that doesn't... here we go. That was just having a bit of a sticky moment. Boom, boom. Trying to line that little hole up as well. This is certainly... Push these wings together. There we go. And cool. Right, so I'm going to put one of these bad boys on here. Super duper. And then on here it does say about if we can use rubber bands, but what I'm going to have to do is our broken, I'll just put them in a bit further, our broken servo lead that well, not we, but me. I'm just going to push that around there and see if that's going to, will that hold? Will that be okay? Somewhere around here. He's got another clip over here. I don't think that's going to work. Don't think that's going to work. Still, in fact, is it going to? Yeah, there's a slight. You can see that. That's pretty together, I think. Trying to make sure that the back is level. In fact, I'm going to probably hit the other side of the cam and get one of my small clips and just make sure that the back, there's just a little clip on the back. I don't know if you just saw that because I can't see the camera at the moment, but I think that is. Now time it, so if we can time it at half an hour, because then when it gets near the end of that half an hour, you just make sure, because I don't need these kind of like off-centered. This is why the good thing is to have a rubber band, I guess. That's pretty. That's right. There you go. That's what I wanted. So there you go. Which we're going to leave for half an hour. I'm not going to sit here for half an hour watching glue dry, but hopefully in half an hour that's all going to be stuck nicely. Alrighty, and you're back. Just 30 minutes, just gone like that. Well, it actually hasn't. I went for some lunch. I had a sandwich, I had a cup of tea. But before that, I started carrying on recording. And while I was in there having a cup of tea, I thought I'd download the card. And we have gone too far. Yes, which means I've got enough probably footage for next video, for next Friday feeling. Plus add a bit more. But anyway, the wing. So apart from the on-purpose ventilation holes at the bottom here. God, remember, I make mistakes so you don't have to. So before we go into anything, just a quick tip I think is that when you put in the spar in, well, it's not a spar but the piece of wood, the elliptical wood, I think, and it's called the dowel as well. I think that you should, even though mine's gone together okay, I think you should glue that in first on up to that line, let it dry. So you're not trying to do all that, because you notice one end, even though it went in okay earlier on in dry fit, always dry fit stuff, it was a bit tuggy and that could have moved just a little bit, but it looks fine. I mean, if you look, there's not a gap there. you're going to blind you now. Same with underneath. There you go, a beautiful thing. It's gone together really well, and of course you can see the elliptical wing. See the elliptical wing, yeah? Decca. Anyways, I can't help myself, I really can't. So that is the wing, and we've run out of time. So when you get the kit, remember you get these with the, you got some decals as well to stick on afterwards. They give you patches, so if you see like the different colours that you get. So if you're really clever, unlike me, you could probably put some spherical. Oh, that's a nice word, spherical. You could probably put some sort of circle thing and then cut around it with a very sharp knife to cover, make bigger than the actual circles itself, because it's a circle there anyway. I didn't drill anything, it was just the covering. Or just put squares, which I will probably do. I will give it a go. I won't make a nice circle. Apart from this, what I'm going to do with I've put blend them on these connectors, and they're normally the best thing you can try and get is, I've got loads of these connectors, that's why I think I had a field day making them one day, but is to get ones with a little clip on, because as you know, I don't know if you noticed in one of them did come apart, and I think it's because I didn't blend them properly. So what I will do for now is I'll put the blend in, but what I do is I'll put some heat shrink around it as well, just to hold it all together. But it's not going to be pulled, but there's always that time that you miss something, and before you know it, you know, you've got the servo cables coming loose. You know, that's the one thing I hate about extending servo cables rather than making them off. I could have spent much more time. You can spend much more time. The reason I don't spend much more time because I have very limited time, and then I try and make a movie about it as well. But you know, you could always sort of like make a join, like a solder join, and then make them to the same length, that they all come out the same length. I think, you know, if I had more time, I'd probably do that. So, you know, there's a little tip for you to do. So the rest of this, I mean, apart from cleaning all these sticky marks off, I've got to cover these in holes. I'll see what I'm going to do there. And it's just basic aesthetics, really. You know, you've got a little the underbelly, which is that, which fits a bit like that. Fits in there, so that just glues underneath, and it fits kind of like under there somewhere. So that'd be another gluing thing going on, which is a bit nicer to sit in. And you've got some other bits and pieces. You've got the bomb cover. Well, it's not a bomb cover, is it? I think it's the actual. I'm not sure what cover it is, but I think this goes on the top. Actually, I think there should be two of them really, but I think there's one. But I always thought that there was something on top of. I could be wrong, but it's in my brain, and that there was something on top of the ring, so the pilots knew that the landing gear was up. I can't remember what it was now. If you remember, leave it in the comments, because I've forgotten. I think this lives on top somewhere, but it's all in the manual anyway. The manual. Oh, there you go. Two. Keep doing this. They've done this with the Tiger Moth. They hide them. So I think these two, and I do believe they go on top. And these were, I think they could see if the landing gear comes up or something. I can't remember now. But one wing finished. You know, there's a bit of glue spilt out there, but we can rub that off. I did notice as well. There's a bit of not so much underneath. The underneath looks like it doesn't go. It isn't together as butt together, but it is. It's a millimetre, or about a millimetre gap all the way down the bottom. But I tried to, because there's no gap up here. I think it's all about the same really. It's probably, you'll probably find that it's a glue's width gap. But we'll fit this next week. Got a bit of glue there. There's glue everywhere. I mean, it's going to be like that. I mean, unless you're very one of these lucky people that have the space and work on one plane at a time, then it gets prestige or pristine. It keeps pristine. I try to, and I'm sure, you know, I'll get about and play about, and I'm sure we could spray this as well. I keep saying that. I'm waffling. So there you go. That's a Friday feeling special. It's special because we're working on the Spitfire again, and we will be working. We've probably got 3 weekends before Christmas. In fact, Christmas Eve. Let's try and aim for Christmas Eve for putting all this together. So we, the electronics, the little man, everything, all in the Spitfire. So we're ready to maiden next year. As for flying, yes, I should have flown today, but we was going to fly today with Paul Heckles. But the winds started up with like between 30 and 36 mile an hour winds. Gusts, sorry, and they was very close gusts. It's not like you get the odd gust here and there. It was almost like rolling. So, and that sort of wind is not good, especially when you got sort of 22 between 22 and 25 mile an hour winds, which is acceptable. You could fly on it, but with the rolling gusts, you know, you get a couple of those when you're trying to land, and it could be game over. So we decided not to, but we're going to try again if weather permitting on the 18th. As I say, we're really sort of like pushing our luck. You know, the season's over really for the UK. I mean, you get some people that still can fly, which is brilliant. But obviously we're aiming for Fridays really, so it's potluck. But we can still get this Spitfire done and ready for next year. So, as I say, I've got a lot of RTL products. I mean, I did show you. I mean, if you saw my crazy video, RTL sent me. I've got lots of bits. They sent me some cases and some nuts and bolts, and I really need to go through that. And I'm replacing all the fittings that you see on the servos. I'm replacing with the RTL ones they sent me, which are a lot better, and they're hex bolts rather than Phillips. I just love the hex heads. A bit like I put the hex heads in all of here. In the control horns, it's nicer when you're trying to tighten it up. Phillips is great. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't, you know, it's not mechanical. Oh, that's the word. I don't know what it is. But anyway, listen. If you can get out flying this weekend, have a fabulous time and have a brilliant time and enjoy. If you get out tonight, enjoy that Friday feeling. Then you enjoy it out there and put a big smile on your face, ready for the weekend. Me, I'm just going to carry on. After I've done the video and uploaded ready for later on, I'm going to carry on back in the hangar and carry on with the Spitfire, doing little things like, I will show you afterwards, but you don't need to see video because it just wastes time. But I'm going to put some heat shrink on here. I'm going to tidy it up a bit and bits and pieces, and actually give the plane a wipe, because the greasiness does get off on here when you got sometimes got greasy hands. Waffling on again. Anyway, listen. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and help the channel. Hit that like button. If you don't like it, hit the down like button. I haven't changed it, so you can see the dislikes, whatever. And you know, hit the bell if you want to see the next episode, which is next Friday feeling. Saturday Night Live. Unfortunately, it all went sideways, as I put on the community post, and I was also on Facebook, my Facebook page for Dad's RC Hangar. But yeah, we will work on that. Maybe we'll have something sort of in between Christmas and New Year. To have something. I don't know what yet. I don't want to promise you anything because it is so crazy leading up to Christmas. Anyway, so after you subscribed, push that like and hit that bell so you don't miss an episode. And I really appreciate it. I really do. So, thanks for popping by. Be safe, keep safe, and if you can fly, have some fun. Listen now. Thanks and goodbye. See ya.